Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Library, where Star Wars is in print, the Force is with the readers, and we return to a couple of odd statues in this episode. I'm your host, Nathan P. Butler. We're going back to May of 1985 for this one. That is 2 years after the theatrical release of Return of the Jedi. And the issue in question is Star Wars number 99 from the Marvel series entitled Touch of the Goddess. If Lando dies, I'll destroy your planet. This is another one of these that I had actually as a newsstand copy when I was little. It's actually the last one in the series that I ever picked up as a kid. Another one of these beat-up copies here. You can find it these days in the pages of Star Wars Omnibus a long time ago, Volume 5, as have been all the ones we've looked at recently here. Now, it is a story that starts out with some chronological issues just from the get-go here, okay? We find, as the story begins, that Finn Shisa is back. Wearing somehow white armor there instead of his traditional green, but Finn is back. He actually returns in a story entitled Far, Far Away. It's issue number 101. This is issue number 99. They're going to be telling this sort of out of order here. However, this does take place prior to First Strike, which is the next issue of the series, number 100. So, our characters are back together again, back on the Forest Moon of Endor, and Luke, I like this picture here, Luke is remembering his now dead friend Kiro. Remember, he died 2 issues ago, or at least they thought he died 2 issues ago, and we had that bizarre supply and demand Vandelhelm mission issue that was just thrown in there out of nowhere by Goodwin and Williamson that kind of threw off everything. Here we have Jo Duffy, Mary Jo Duffy as the writer. Ron Frenz is back doing the pencils, which is very nice to see, instead of Cynthia Martin. I sort of expressed my opinion of her artwork a little while earlier. So Luke is dealing with the loss of Kiro, Danny is dealing with the loss of Kiro, and we have a character here that kind of appears out of nowhere. This guy, you can barely see him here, big dude with the white hair and the eye patch, cybernetic eye kind of thing going on, named Bay, who is with them. Who in the heck is Bay? We'll find out in Far, Far Away, issue 101, when they finally tell us how he and Finn arrived. Suffice to say, he's an old friend of Han's who has known him since way back on Corellia, early in their lives, just sort of the big brother figure for Han, and a brother in many respects. Now, what happens essentially is that our heroes have gone to the planet of Godo, and on Godo, they're finding that people are very, very sick. They're traveling around looking at the different landmarks and such. And there's this one that, wow, that looks a lot like the minstrel or the dancing goddess. We had these statues from a while back in, say, the Big Khan and the hero. That sure looks a lot like one of those. So what they realize is that, whoa, this isn't just a monument. This is a big machine of some kind. There's this disease affecting the people of the planet because this machine is not working right and stopping it from having that effect. So, holy crap, we need to do something about this, but to do so, we need to replace the 2 parts that are missing. The dancing goddess and the minstrel, those statues that we thought were throwaway items back in the Big Khan, where we had Lando impersonating Drebel as sort of the white-haired pirate-type character here, and that we saw back being given to Drebel in the hero. Remember, the minstrel was given to Limo and Sanda's little gang, and then we had Drebel being given, the real Drebel, being given the dancing goddess. Now they need both of them. They wind up making a deal with Limo and Sanda, then find their crew back on Arcan 4, and they get from them the minstrel. They then show up on Stenos and wind up going to try to get it from Drebel. And you would think that Drebel's going to give Lando a really hard time about this, but Lando finds that Drebel is a changed man. Because he was declared a hero back in The Hero, he sort of started to act that way, to earn the respect that hero title implies based on what was, we know, the actions of Lando, not the actions of actual Drebel. And when he realizes that, you know, lives are at stake here, he just gives it over. Like, he's like, I might have swindled you out of it, but I'm just asking you for it. Yeah, lives are at stake, take it, save lives, that's what a hero would do. The actual conversation between the two, he says that when asked for it, Lando is basically saying, I can't lie to you, Drebel. I thought of trying to cheat you, or stealing it, but I can't. I owe you the truth. That statue physically means the life or death of a world full of desperate, innocent people. At which point, Drebel's like, back? Like, you want it back? He says, Lando, friends should never resort to cheating and stealing from one another. If you need the dancing goddess that badly, you must simply take it. I suppose in light of what you've told me, if I were to insist on keeping it, I would no longer deserve it. Because remember, it was given to him as a token, supposedly, of the appreciation of the Alliance. At which point, Lando says, and I like the interaction between these two for the last time, Dribble, Chewie and I are taking this because we have to, but no one can take away the fact that you earned it. You've still got what it takes. Now you're a hero of the Alliance's peace, as well as its war. Great interplay between these two who had started off as such adversaries earlier in the series. For those who've been reading it for a long time, that is some great payoff. They wind up getting back to the planet in time to save everyone, except problem is that in rushing to get there and get the statues to where they need to be, Lando did not take the inoculation he was supposed to take, and now he's being hit by the same technovirus that was harming everyone else on the planet. He didn't know to get the inoculation. He was just kind of racing down to do it as fast as he could. And he needs to be allowed to come back down to the surface of the planet to go inside and be healed. But their contact on the planet is basically saying, that's not possible. We don't want outsiders anymore. Now that it's fixed, you all need to stay away. No. The temple's being closed to outsiders so they can't steal it again, blah, blah, blah. No. Lando just saved your butts, so you better save his. It gets to a point where Han, and that's where the title, the opening of the whole, if Lando dies, I'll destroy your planet thing comes in. Basically, Han says, I've got a squadron of pilots here with enough firepower in our ships to start a small war or end a civilization. What do you say the bunch of us open fire with everything we've got aimed right at your capital? And their contact, and Akbar are like, you can't do this. Only the pilots agree. He says, Lando's a pretty popular guy, Admiral. I don't think I'll have much trouble drumming up support. How about it? Any of the rest of you guys with me? Wedge says yes. Nine Num says yes. Triff and Maggie, these two other pilots we're going to see a little bit later, though not much, they both agree, and Finn and Bay, at Bay's urging, even agree. Though you see Finn's sense of honor, because when he asks Finn, are you with me? Bay says, do it, Finn. To which he replies, but they're unarmed. Trust me if you won't trust Han. All right, Solo, it's unanimous. So, kind of a nice moment there. So with the countdown almost over, Fumayo, the contact, says yes, bring him back down, and Lando is saved. And of course, would you have really done it? Well, it's nice to know that we'll never know if it was really a bluff. So Lando is saved, the planet is saved. We have new introductions of characters here, Bay in particular, and of course we have the whole issue with the dancing goddesses and whatnot. We have Finn returning, but of course we haven't seen how that actually happened until a couple issues down the line. So, this story, Touch of the Goddess, is it an essential read? I would say for mainstream modern readers, no, it's not. Doesn't really affect much in the big picture. But, if you're a fan of the Marvel series and you've been following it along, I think this is an essential read because it's finally a wrap-up of all the stuff with Drebble and the Dancing Goddess and the Minstrel. We finally see some meaning behind it, and it gives nice payoff to the big con and the hero back a while back. So, if you're a Marvel reader, yeah, definitely check this one out. But you don't need to for the overall grand scheme of Star Wars. In that sense, it's just a small ripple in a very, very, very large ocean. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the readers.